Hi, I'm Minotaur. Ubisoft decided to give us some fresh lore at the beginning of Year 8, and I think Deimos' reveal was very well done, but they kind of, later dropped the ball. I think that we have all the lore we're gonna get before the start of Year 9, so I've decided to critique the lore because it's a bit iffy, let's be honest. I think out of all the cinematics and comics we've got this year, the Year 8 cinematic, as Ubisoft has called it, is the best. Deimos' dialogue is well written and gives us some juicy lore to think on while also remaining vague enough that we don't immediately find out everything. That being said, he falls flat on his reasoning to destroy Rainbow. He thinks Rainbow is weak and a disgrace, and therefore homicide is the best route to take. Why don't we expand on that somehow? Let's add a character to use as a tool to expand our lore and call him something like Zephos. Right after Deimos says Rainbow turned into the Ice Capades, whatever that is,
and you turned it into the fucking Ice Capades.
He could say something like, "People died for this unit, Harry, and now what is it? Sports?" Zephos was a terrorist. He was family. And then the cinematic would resume as it did before, with Deimos saying that Harry disgraced his unit.
You disgraced my unit, Harry.
This would most importantly give us some more strength to Deimos' character, making this action more personal, as not only did Rainbow become a joke, he lost someone only to have Rainbow become a joke. Those lines I added can also be used as a foundation to connect previous lore to the current lore. Maybe the Zephos fellow I made up was an ex-Rainbow out from Greece. Zephos could have been behind the white masks as a sort of puppet master to try and get Rainbow reactivated. After Rainbow finds out it was Zephos all along, he dies. This gives us a question on whether the ends justify the means, as Rainbow is back, but hundreds have died. Deimos would say it did, and be upset they turned their back on one of their own and proceeded to do that weird arena stuff. Not only does this give the White Masks a connection to the lore and Deimos, but it also explains the importance of Greece within the lore. After all, the stadium is located in Greece. Deimos and Kires are both Greek names. Enough about Deimos for now. We should continue with that Year 8 cinematic. The action scenes are kind of bizarre. We could definitely do without that edgy Kavira scene, first of all.
I have eyes on 15 mercs surrounding the QCR weaponry. Make that 14.
If it weren't for the fact that Thermite's goofy leap was a good segue into, revealing the bomb, I'd say please cut that as well. The next cinematic to look at is Brava's Interception, where Deimos goes from cool to absolute fool. It took Deimos no time at all to go from an interesting villain to just having a cliche killing of his own dudes. Logically, I don't think opening the back of the plane would, kill everyone. I'm pretty sure if paratroopers can walk to the edge of the ramp and jump out, Rainbow and all the Deimos goons should be fine. How about Rainbow starts a gunfight with all the goons and Deimos opens the ramp? The goons put up a bit of a fight and slide the plane's cargo at Rainbow. Now, instead of Deimos just killing everyone, he works alongside his grunts to get Rainbow out of the plane. This is when Brava uses the turret she hacked to gun down the bad guys. As the turret is doing its thing, Brava stops Capital from falling out of the plane. Since Rainbow understood they'd be fighting on a plane, they actually brought parachutes this time. Brava hesitates to let Capital go. Deimos just leaves instead of waiting, and Capital convinces Brava to let go, and Capital can use his parachute to pursue Deimos. Now Deimos still has a reputation as a decent villain. The action scene made a bit more sense, and the drama resulted in Deimos not completely getting away. We have our first comic now, the Commanding Force comic. I think it would be cool if someone, told Brava to chill. Like, seriously, look at these facial expressions, bro. The comic is solid, though, with the operators using their gadgets in a real scenario. We learned from the comic that the bomb in the Year 8 cinematic had some serious consequences in lore, with everyone there getting injured. For example, Ash is now in a coma. This is huge, as not only has Deimos killed Harry, but he shows that he's still a threat to the Rainbow operators themselves. The changes we made in Brava's Interception can further add to this, as Capital's choice to pursue Deimos has left him missing in action, and Brava blames herself. Brava could want to go so badly to try and maybe find out where Capital is or what happened to him. Fenrir's chemical formula is actually terrible.
And he's coming for Rainbow.
Remember how we were trying to make Deimos not kill his own dudes a minute ago? Well, now he's killing his own dudes again, and this time they're scientists. Astounding. Instead of Deimos testing the formula on his own dudes, how about he gives Fenrir the task of preparing a device to disperse it over a wide area? While Fenrir listens, he could maybe have flashbacks to the White Masks and their use of chemical warfare. We could add that Fenrir was a survivor of a White Mask attack, which allows him to have flashbacks of them. This could also explain how he knows Thermite and why everyone recognized him at the end of the Commanding Force comic. I don't really have anything to say about the Operation Dread Factor comic other than that Kate is completely right, and the end of the comic shows us just how uncoordinated Rainbow really is, but that has more to do with the following cinematic. Ram Takes the Tower Back honestly sounds like the title of a children's book. Jokes aside, I can't tell whether I really like it or not because it's mostly good but gets completely ruined at the end. It shows how uncoordinated Rainbow is that they allow an attack helicopter to fly close enough to open fire at the base they were just told would get attacked. Maybe give the recruits a few seconds to try and get to safety, maybe? They can still die. In fact, I think they should because it shows that the Deimos goons themselves are a little competent. Vigil gets hit by what appears to be a rock that came from above him. Where did that rock come from? Anyway, it's still good because the streak of Deimos posing a threat to Rainbow is still going. Not really, because instead of just a neck injury or anything, Vigil's just fine. Ram is an absolute beast, with an action scene that makes the cinematic really enjoyable to watch. Until the final one-liner, anyway.
Vigil. Chop her down.
Could we maybe not do that? A bunch of recruits just fell to their death, Vigil got injured, Ram just had to do some crazy stuff to deal with it, and then we got a one-liner that absolutely spoiled the mood. The Operation Heavy Metal comic is kinda mid. Still not a fan of Vigil casually walking around. Maybe we could have a recruit or two from earlier survive and they help Ram take out the goons instead of Vigil. We somehow learn about a different mission from the black box of the helicopter, which has nothing to do with the helicopter. Why? I've got no idea and wouldn't mind that tidbit of information being reserved for the next cinematic. That being said, a whole lot of nothing actually happens here, so we may as well get to said cinematic. Q Tubarao infiltrates Deimos' secret lair. In the space of 1 year, we went from titles like Brava's Interception to just full-on sentences. Anyway, let's see what Deimos' cronies are up to, and oh, seriously, they're killing hostages. Surely they have a why, right? They brought these guys from the boat all the way to their base just to shoot them there? It's never explained why they did this, so we can assume it's to show that Tubarao, or what I'm just going to call him that, values hostages and stuff. To fix this, we'll use a tool we've been saving since Operation Commanding Force, Capitao. Capitao gets captured by Deimos after chasing him and gets locked up in his base so they can get some information from him. This isn't the first time Capitao has been tortured, that's how he lost his eye if you're wondering. And since he lasted so long, they brought in hostages to make him talk. They're shooting at the hostages as a way to make him talk. That wasn't very hard, Ubisoft. On the topic of lore we worked on earlier, the connection we give Deimos to the White Masks make more sense due to the dude who looks like a White Mask here. This could be the guy in charge of torturing Capitao due to the inevitable bone to pick he has with Rainbow. The rest of the cinematic is fine. That just leaves us with one comic left to finish off, the Operation Deep Freeze comic. It's just as solid as the Commanding Force comic, so to make it make sense, we just need to write Capitao into it. Since that one actually dangerous guy is actually the White Mask looking dude, he attempts to save face by killing Capitao instead of Tubarao. He's gonna kill himself while doing it of course, but considering the White Masks use suicide bombers, I think that's fine. Tubarao, showing how much of a humanitarian he is, jumps in the water and saves Capitao by freezing the dude just like he did in the actual comic. And we're done. There you have my critique of the Year 8 Siege lore. I'm slightly in shock that the lore added at the beginning, like Deimos' connection to the White Masks and Capitao going missing, perfectly managed to fit in the end. Well, that's all I have. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.